Okay, welcome to this next video. Today I'm going to be talking about muscle imbalances. I thought I made a video on this, but I hadn't, and it's actually a really important topic, which pretty much every single person on planet Earth suffers from. And the good thing about muscle imbalances is people think they're stuck with them forever, and that's the way I thought as well. But actually, they're very easy to overcome by just adjusting your training a little bit. So without further ado, let me get into this video. So why do muscle imbalances take place? One, genetics. Okay, everyone's gonna have different muscle insertions. Everyone's gonna have a stronger dominant side if you're right-handed or you're right-legged, for example. Maybe that will um, lead to you developing your right-hand side body more. But actually, sometimes the opposite happens. Sometimes that means you'll develop your left-hand side more because um, just because of like your right-hand side of your body taking over in some parts of the movement may leave your um, left hand side of the body like follow a bigger range of motion. I'll come on to that later, but yeah, sometimes it works both ways. Either for me, it's my left side, right? I'm right-handed, right-legged, but the entire side of my left body, as you can tell in this photo, is bigger. My left shoulder, my left arm, my left legs as well, my left calves even. It's just weird how that works. But also why I got it, and I went to see a chiropractor about it as well, and a physio, is from two things. One is bad posture, so basically sitting too much throughout the day, which I'm pretty sure like everyone's, if I had to guess, everyone's like main thing is comes down to these two things when it comes to muscle imbalances: sitting down for too long and having bad posture, like always leaning forward on your laptop, on your phone, like literally 8 hours a day. This is gonna obviously destroy your posture, which has an effect when you train, right? If you don't train with good posture, you don't train with good form, you don't take um, both sides through a full range of motion because your posture is so messed up, that can lead to muscle imbalances. But also, and this is what my physio told me, he said your main thing is from a central nervous system shock, which basically occurs when you're younger, you're a beginner, and you're doing like stupid like 3 rep maxes on your deadlifts with horrible form, like really bad form on your like barbell squats and your bench presses. And what that does is it has like a lifelong lasting effect of when you're doing intense sets. As soon as your central nervous system like realizes that you're doing a hard set, boom, it will compensate to your the side which you messed up during like a big squat. So for example, if I'm like 14 years old and I'm doing, this is me talking from my past, like 17 years old, doing like every week doing like deadlifts 3 rep max, barbell squats 3 rep max. What happens is because you're kind of ego lifting, you're not doing it with great form because you don't know what you're doing. Um, you'll go down, for example, and you do a heavy squat and you come up and you're like, I don't know if this happens to you guys, but your knee will cave in, your hips will twitch, and over time that is basically your central nervous system just taking a big hit, like taking a big hit. Your nerve to muscle connection will then take a big hit, and you'll start to compensate one side of the body for the other. So your one side of the body will always stimulate more than than your other side of the body. That's basically what happens. It's kind of bro science. Like, I'm not really like that well educated about like the physiology of it, but essentially that happens a lot, right? You lift heavy, you do your free weights, powerlifting when you're young. This gives you a central nervous system shock, which, like, if not fixed, will basically always lead you to feeling only your right front delt when you're doing a shoulder press, or only feeling your right tricep when you're doing your tricep pushdowns, or only feeling your right bicep when you're doing your bicep curls. Because as soon as you engage in that hard set, boom, like your body just, oh shit, we're doing a hard set. Let me use the right hand side of the body instead of the left. So it basically has like PTSD from like your bad form ego lifting days as a beginner. Um, and so the way you fix that is you improve your mind muscle connection, and you can do that through a bunch of different ways. So first of all is pre-exhaustion or pre-activation sets. So like I said before, if you struggle with a mind muscle connection, um, whether it's your right hand side that you don't feel the muscle contracting, or is it your left hand side, whatever it is, you want to pre-exhaust. Okay, this can help with the mind muscle connection in general, but also can help with improving your mind muscle connection in the weaker side of your body, that isn't growing because you don't have like, you can't feel the muscle working, right? So for example, before every chest press you do your chest flies first. Before every squat you do your leg extensions first. Okay, this way you're, pre-activating the muscle, you're drawing attention to the muscle so that you can connect with it better, in your like big pressing movements, big squats, and which means that you're more likely to engage the muscle fibers in your weaker body part, in your weaker side, and therefore grow more. It's called improving kinesthetic awareness, which essentially means that you're priming the muscle, so it's firing more. It's like more alert. Essentially, just think of it like this, so that when you like do your pressing, it's going to engage. It's not going to shut off like it normally does, and just use your like stronger side. It's going to engage as well, so you're going to feel it better, and this is going to help you grow more effectively. Also, another thing I used is mental imagery, literally imagining the muscle moving through a full range of motion, contracting, stretching, like literally as I'm doing my hard set, picturing my muscle like move the weight, squeeze, like stretch at the bottom, all that stuff. So mentally visualize your muscles doing the work can also improve your mind muscle connection, especially on your weaker side, right? Typically, what used to happen for me is when I do an incline dumbbell press, I would have like a way bigger right pec than my left pec. So every time I did the incline double press from then on, all I did was squeezing my left pec at the top, just squeeze the shit out of it at the top every single week. And actually, the opposite effect, it had an opposite effect. My mind muscle connection got so good on my left pec that my right pec started lagging behind. So, that's how strong like mental imagery and like really focusing on squeezing the muscle can help with bringing up like your weaker body parts. So as you can tell, if you just look at this photo of me, like when I fix my muscle imbalances, look at my like left shoulder, left arm, and right shoulder, right arm. They're like pretty similar size, right? Whereas look at this one. Look how much bigger my left shoulder, my left arm is to my right hand side. So that just shows like this stuff works. At least it worked for me, and it will work for you. Another thing is controlling your tempo. Another way to improve your mind muscle connection with your weaker side of your body, and in general, is to slow down the descent. So on the way down, you control it slowly. Do like 4-second eccentrics. So for example, on like a leg press or like a chest press or incline Smith press, any movement you're doing, take 4 seconds down to lower the weight and pause in the stretch. Okay, this is also going to help you improve your mind muscle connection. It's going to help you draw attention to the muscle you're working, because you can feel like, oh my god, I feel it being ripped apart. That's a good sign. It means you're connecting with that muscle. Your nerves to your muscle connection is improving. And obviously a big squeeze at the top. So really hard, squeeze the shit out of whatever you're training, to improve the mind muscle connection as well. And yeah, those are my first round of tips that helped me bring up my right hand side with my left hand side of my body, like especially my right shoulder and right arm as well. Next is unilateral movements. So I'll just tell you which unilateral movements helped me fix my muscle imbalances. So as I said, my whole right hand side of my body is smaller than my left, was smaller than my left. And how I did that as well is not only mind muscle connection training, but also single arm, single leg movements. These are the ones I do to this day to maintain that balance. I do single arm cable curl because my right bicep lags behind my left. Single arm lat pull down, same thing applies. My right lat is smaller than my left lat, and also weaker mind muscle connection. Overhead extension for triceps, because again, my mind muscle connection is worse on my right than my left for triceps. And single arm cable row. This also helps me fix my muscle imbalances between my lats. So those 4 movements are my go-to single arm movements. I don't do any single leg, just because on leg days, like, that just takes a lot of time, and you're just, they're so hard in and of themselves. So I have a different routine that fix my leg muscle imbalances that I'll come on to. So essentially what it's going to do is it's going to reduce side to side differences, because you're training each side of your body with equal intensity, and they're doing equal amounts of work. You're putting in equal amounts of effort for both sides. So obviously that's going to improve and fix your muscle imbalances. Now, having said that, you're going to want to start all the time. You're going to start with your weaker side, your smaller muscle first. So if my right lat is smaller than my left lat, if I do a what's that pose called? or whatever, like a front double bicep or a lat spread, and I can obviously see that my left lat is much more developed. Maybe it attaches lower than my right lat. Then I'm going to start off with a single arm lat pull down with my right hand. This way you can allocate, because you're going to be the freshest at the start of your set, right? At the start of every set. So you're going to want to use, when you're freshest, you're going to want to do the set with your weaker side. This is going to help you as well balance them out, because if you start with your stronger side, that's not that good, because you're giving your most effort to your stronger side, which doesn't need the help anyways. Your other side does. So start with your weaker side. Whether you're doing like a preacher curl, start with your right hand if your right bicep is smaller than your left bicep, and this is going to help with also fixing muscle imbalances. And also, quick note: use dumbbells instead of barbells or Smith press, just because this way you can each side is doing the same amount of work, lifting the same amount of weight. Because as I said, if you have what I had, like a CNS shock, when you're doing your heavy like bench pressing and heavy whatever it is, incline Smith press, you're gonna compensate as soon as your body realizes you're doing a hard set. Boom, it's gonna start using your stronger side. So whereas if you use dumbbells, you're controlling equal amounts of weight with both sides, which is going to lead to equal development, muscle development. So yeah, and so this is my next bonus. So what I was talking to before, how I don't do single leg movements, how I fix my imbalances between my legs is stretching. Now, typically, a lot of us have a really tight hip flexors. So if we were to get an X-ray, our hips would be like this, which leads to so many muscle imbalances, because essentially this means that if your hips are like this, you're shifted this way, your right hand side has a deeper range of motion, so it's going to grow more. Or if it's this way, it's the opposite, your left hand side. So if you're doing like RDLs, you're going to be able to get a deeper stretch on your right hand side. If you're doing leg extensions, you're going to get a deeper stretch on your right quad. So this is obviously going to lead to big muscle imbalances. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to stretch frequently throughout the week to loosen up your now obviously this could take like chiropractic as well, but stretching worked for me, like hip flexor stretching, quadricep stretching, hamstring stretches. All those helped me like balance out my stiffness and my bias towards my left hand side than my right hand side, and obviously loosened up the muscles so that they both now have an equal range of motion because I'm stretching a lot. So do like 3 sets of 30-second stretches for your quads, your hip flexors, your glutes, and your hamstrings, for example, and try to do that like 3 times a week. This will really help. If you have like a bigger quad or a bigger hamstring than on your right hand side than your left hand side, start stretching, trust me. And it can also, help you get a deeper range of motion and in general, which is going to help you grow more. So yeah, that's it. This will definitely help. This will help for me. As I said, I showed you how stark the difference is between my right and left hand side, and then like this is probably like a year and a bit after, and like it's almost identical between the right and left hand side of my body. So yeah, just pick your weak hand. So in conclusion, pick your weak side and do one single arm and single leg movement every time you train. So if you do your push day, choose one exercise to make it single arm. So if you have a smaller tricep on your right hand side than your left hand side, make sure you have a single arm overhead extension. On your pull day, if you have a smaller right lat than your left lat, make sure you have a single arm lat pull down or a single arm cable row. Choose one of these to do each time you train, so that eventually over time you can fix that muscle imbalance. And make sure to control the weight, lighten the weight if you have to. Sometimes you're just ego lifting and you're not connecting with the muscle. So sometimes you just need to lighten the weight, control your eccentrics, squeeze the muscle to improve that mind muscle connection and to grow more. And pre-exhaustion as well for a mind muscle connection boost. As I said, my go-to pre-exhaustions are chest flies before my chest press and quad extensions before my squats. This helped me as well, and you're good to go. So yeah, thank you for watching. Hope this helps. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions, and make sure to check out the School of Aesthetics for one-on-one coaching and community of gym bros, and a bunch of courses there as well, and basically just a private coaching community. If you're interested in building muscle, losing fat, and you need help with that, that can help you. Free training program in the link in the description, and merch, barbell apparel, check it out. Got the comfiest clothes ever. By the way, these jeans that they have as well are insane. They feel like sweatpants. Best jeans I've ever had, honestly. So check that out as well, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.